All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, morning. How you doing, brother? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy.
It's Thursday.
Yes, indeed.
Get
Yes,
up,
indeed.
get up, get up, get to moving. It's time to chase purpose.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Time to chase business. All right. So thank you guys for being with us and rocking. Good morning, Lisa. Let me move my mic a little closer. The mic sounds nice. All right, let's do this. Spliggity splow.
Morning,
Spliggity
Lisa.
splow. And make sure you share, of course. Sharing is caring. Is that how I want it? Okay, so boom. Do this. Thank you for sharing. Always, always. Thank you for sharing. Um, all right. Make sure I get that right. Bam. All right. So today is Thursday.
All
Time
day.
is flying. Time is flying.
Yeah, it is.
Whew. Let's see. What is that? All right. Hey. Good morning, Mama McCory. Thank you for being here with us. Let's see. So today
Morning,
we are
Mom.
talking about what we learned growing into men. Yesterday we kind of talked about some of the foundational principles of being a man and kind of like the end or some of the stuff we are developing and growing into as well. Today I just kind of want to dig into the journey of becoming a man, some of the pitfalls, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the even worse. Some of the things we thought that we got wrong, and all of that, and then some. So make sure you join our text community. If you are missing any of our shows or notification of broadcasts, text LWN to 84576. Join our community, text LWN to 84576. My podcast people, appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us as well. So today, like I said, we're talking about what we learned growing into men, boys to men. And as always, make sure you share this conversation. Tag someone that needs to hear this. Tag at least one person that you want to be a part of this conversation. Because we like to have a spirited conversation. So make sure you tag someone. We like questions. We like comments. Tell us, that your perspective is a little different than ours. We like that as well because we are just sharing our perspective, what we've seen that from the community around us and the people we've interacted with, which is just a small part of the overall collecting of men, especially at least in this country of the United States. So we definitely invite you to offer your opinion, offer your questions surrounding men and some things that you may not understand. Maybe we can help bring some understanding to it, at least our understanding of it from our perspective. Oh man. So let's get into it. Here's your opportunity to share. Make sure you share. If you haven't shared yet, make sure you do so. All right. All right. We'll be right back. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Bam. And we're back. All right. Let's see. So we're talking about what we learned growing into men, some of the responsibilities, accountabilities, learning, and we talked about the emotional connection, the things that we've hidden, because starting off, with learning how to express myself emotionally or express how I'm feeling, the first, I think for me, the first time I had to confront that was probably with my wife. I don't think I've ever really dealt with how are you feeling? Like, how are you really feeling? Having to truly describe it in a sense where, other than sad or mad or angry or, the basics of it, having to describe it, like in more of terms of, where we're at and how you're feeling and what can I do to help? Like, I don't know how you could help. I just know this is internal. I don't know how to ask for help, because for forever, for the last like 20 years or 25 years growing up, I've had to kind of figure out how to deal with all of my emotions myself. So now you're, trying to allow you into my space to tell you how to help me is challenging, and it's just like, well, the only thing I can say is just be here. you know, Give me a hug right now. This is what I need right now. Like, because I don't know how to massage this feeling, how to deal with it and tell you about it and work it out, you know. And we've talked about therapy, that always helps because they have techniques or at least a way of asking questions that get you the answers that's already inside of you, in a sense, navigating through feelings and navigating through situations or issues. Let's get my brother Ephraim in the building. Great morning to you, sir.
Morning, fellas. Morning.
Morning, brother.
So like I said, today we're talking about what we learned growing into men. So I just kind of jumped in, digging in with the emotional aspect of learning how to deal with your feelings as a man, or even as a male, like what to do, how to be expressive without holding it in. Because, like I said, before you got married, you can kind of hold stuff in because you can always, it seemed like in every aspect of life, from work to social to even church, you can always put on a face, you can put on a front, and pretty much you're judged by your functionality. Like, oh, he's still working, he's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still preaching, he's fine.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's still clowning and chilling with us, he's
Right.
fine. About the only place you can't hold that facade is in your own home.
Right.
Why, what's wrong with you? I'm fine. You got it all on your face, while you're watching TV, while you're interacting with the kids. It's just, there's something, and it's that, I think, to me, I think for my growth happened more or less coming into being a man with a family or getting married, and then someone seeing you all the time, because when you change or shift just a little bit, because they see you all the time, they know something ain't right today. Would you agree with that? Or when was your moment of understanding your manhood as far as digging in emotionally? Like, when were you confronted with having to deal with your emotions? I know you've passed it generally. You always say you express a lot and maybe express too much. But were you able to deal with, how you felt on the inside and explain it to people or anyone that was genuinely concerned?
Yeah, I've always been comfortable expressing my emotion.
Okay.
I also learned very early
Right.
about how to express it. But again, that's because, we always had the freedom
Right.
to express ourselves growing up at home.
Right.
I don't know if that was because, my mother was like, that's not going to be my business today. I'm too tired.
Right.
But again, being the son of a teacher, my mother had to deal with children expressing themselves every day because it was
Right.
early childhood education. So she dealt with preschool, she taught children how to manage their emotions in the classroom. So we had that. It was a lifestyle for us. So there was always room to express yourselves. I told you, months ago or weeks ago that, all of our creative projects were on the Christmas tree.
Right.
Yeah.
So she, she used everything, every expression we ever had was always exposed some kind of way. But even with my friends, I had friends I grew up with. We hung out all the time. Your friends know when you're in a bad mood.
Yeah. They can see something.
Man, what's wrong with you today? They call you out. Right. And you got to deal with that.
Right.
So and again, I in the late 70s, 80s, there were a lot of, from an entertainment perspective, love songs.
Right.
Right. The bands, it was always love songs on the radio.
Right.
Love songs, and the soundtracks for the movies in the 80s was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Last American Virgin, all those love songs. You had the rock and roll bands, but what made them famous was the love songs.
Right.
Journey,
That's good.
Poison. Every rose has its thorn. So
Yes.
everybody was in touch with their emotions. The Isley Brothers. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
I mean, Lenny Williams.
Right.
Marvin Gaye. Everybody was in love. Everybody was expressing themselves. Man.
Right.
So you looked odd if you didn't express yourself.
But I feel you on the love part. Like but do you feel like did we express our hurt or pain? Like other than the love pain, we can all find every love pain song. Whatever you've gone through, whatever some woman did to you, or whatever you've done to a woman, you can find a song about it. There is a song that'll either comfort you or call you out. But as far as the pain or emotional pain or dealing, the depression or explaining like why you're down, or when something makes you feel a certain way, how to express or deal with anger, or things that you can't control. Do you feel like there was an outlet for that? Because I know, there was a time, I know, like I said, other than your household, Pastor, what happens in the house stays in this house. When like,
unless you were my brother Paul.
Right.
What Paul do? Paul tell it all?
Shit, everything.
Look, I'm second in the line. Paul's third. Paul's right behind me.
Right.
And we had to keep the secrets away from Paul. Paul would tell us.
He got no problem sharing.
We couldn't have family conversations with Paul in the room. He would tell us.
Oh man.
Paul was 40 years old before he started learning family secrets. Like, when did that happen? Oh, sorry, man. We couldn't tell you. We couldn't tell you back then.
I never knew that. Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh. So yeah, it's so like so with my household, it wasn't like a lot of emotional sharing. My mother was a Jehovah's Witness, and for the most part, she was kind of stoic, or very like, kind of straightforward, loving, but it was more or less, if you didn't have Jehovah, that's the covering and problem. That's why you got problems. That's why you got issues, like, because you ain't got Jehovah, kind of thing. And like I said, she loved me, but there were moments that, that I didn't get the comfort of covering. I guess either she didn't know how to approach it or how to deal with it. I there were moments that I just felt like I need you, Mom. I don't need the Jehovah's Witness. I need you, So there were those moments, so because I kind of bring this up because I want to know, have you guys, been in those moments where it's like, I don't know what to do with these feelings. I don't know how to express these feelings, in a in a good manner,
Yeah. Like I hear pass on the music, but my generation grew up on Pac, so they were trying to, thug it.
Right.
And we kind of what you were saying, AD, as much as you can take was to show your strength. So if
Right.
you can go through all this and stay silent, you know, you were rewarded because that means you can take a lot. But we just didn't know that, like,
Right. That's good.
those ripple effects, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you know, like after, you know, a long day, you do need the time to kind of reflect on what just happened.
Right.
You know, I'm from Hollandale, small city in Florida.
Right.
And like on Fifth Court, if I try to remember, I can remember the years, but for like 4 consecutive Christmases, somebody got shot. You know what I'm saying, on that street. And like, as I look back on some of the conversations, we normalized it. Like it's just a thing, you know what I'm saying? But like seeing people get shot on Christmas might be something you might want to talk through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I know I would, you know, I'm just saying stuff that we got normalized to, we just would just like, you know, let it go. So we weren't much on sharing feelings. It was not an atmosphere where I had homies that I could be like, look, man, that shooting made me feel away. You know, so it wasn't really an atmosphere to share.
Right.
And if somebody did even have something that looked close to sharing, the response that they got made me say, if I had something to say, I ain't saying it now.
Right.
I do like this generation because I think an avenue I would have really appreciated is the social media. It gets a lot of them in trouble, but it is something to be able to jump on live and talk through your feelings. Right. Hey, guess what happened today? Man, this is the, you know, you can get on and have a monologue, get it all out your system. And I appreciate also too, back in my day, you know, we were all about writing, but I wish they would have found a way to have the guys be okay with journaling. Like every time you talk, like the girls had those diaries and stuff. So sitting there writing down your feelings at the end of the day was, we saw that as girly. Right. But now that I'm thinking, you know, it was on Moesha. It was like all the girls had diaries, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
it became a thing.
But now I'm like, man, that might have been helpful. But I'm telling you, like, to say, hey, homie, you think I should get like a little diary, keep all my thoughts? Like, I can't even figure out how to word that conversation.
Right.
Like I would have been outcast. I would have been, you know, and when you're a kid, the last thing you want to be is different. Yeah. So it's because different is attacked. Yeah. So like I just wish we had more outlets. But like this live stuff they do, some of them go crazy. They put too much on there. But I'm saying after doing some of what we did and seeing some of what we saw, just coming home and talking to the world for like 30 minutes might have really helped.
Wow. That's good.
If you're strong enough to deal with the response.
Yeah. A lot of them are thin-skinned.
Yeah. I think that far too many people have the courage to put it out there, but not the strength to process what comes back.
Yeah.
Those are the dangers of social media. It's easy to put it out there, but are you strong enough to receive what comes back?
Right.
Which is why you need to have a personal relationship with somebody that you can talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's the danger of social media. So, and I understand what you're saying, man. You need an outlet, you know, something more than, you know, putting it on the court or on the field.
Right.
You know, having a conversation with somebody is critical. The problem with social media is that the response you get is not always edifying.
Yeah.
And it can make you worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw online in the last couple of days a woman who was working on her weight, and she put a video out of her exercising.
Right. Oh Lord.
And the response she got was, I mean, there were certain people encouraging her, but the negativity, you know, calling her out of her name, you know, that shouldn't be public, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself. And she broke down crying like, so now it's wrong for me to be proud of myself, for me to share my journey.
Right.
You know, and she was so, you know, and I'm like, this is what we do.
Right.
This is the response for someone trying to improve themselves.
Right.
You know, and so those are the dangers, man. of the social media. And so I agree with you that we have to have an outlet. I think it can help you, but we have to be careful of what we get back. And so you always have to make sure that you have a safe space, because to me, social media is just not a safe space.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it was growing up. It was just it just wasn't worldwide. Like
right.
me and my 5 homies, it wasn't a safe space. They were my social media, and anything I put out was like rebuke. So like, I'm with you though. You gotta be strong enough, because like the world gonna eat you up, man.
I have a cousin in well, she's y'all seen Dolores Langford on here. That's my honorary auntie.
All right.
Her daughter, my honorary cousin Sanji Lathan, created her own group. Right, she has her worldwide social media presence, and then she started putting stuff out there about her personal journey, and she started getting flack, and so she created her own private group with just her friends, which is her safe space. Right. So she has things that she can share publicly with the world, and she has a space where she can share with her intimate friends, who know her, and you know what I mean. Yeah. So something like that, I think, is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That if you're a person who has a lot of people that you touch, you know,
definitely.
And I think that was very wise for her, because it helped her to maintain her sanity and be careful about what kind of feedback she gets from her posting. So that is a tip for somebody that's traveling the path that you're talking about. Is if you want to be able to put it out there, create yourself a group where you can speak to a broader group of people. But you know it's a safe space. People can challenge you, but not derail you.
Because every emotion and every idea isn't ready to come out. You know what I mean? Like when I went to school, everybody was going to FAMU. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to go to FAM because I couldn't grow. As soon as I say I want to be an astronaut, everybody be like, bro, you ain't never talked about going out. You know what I'm saying? They were going to box me. So, I wanted to, I went to Jacksonville, slid 2 hours over, but still, I just, the wrong group, releasing the idea to the wrong group before that idea is all the way much. Because, we have things we really believe, things we really, but it's not all the way thought out. And if you catch me at the wrong time, you might make me doubt my own idea. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful who you share with. But just got to have the right circle. But
I like what you're saying, man. The lesson really is, as early as you can in life, get over people.
Lord help us. Lord help us.
That's the one thing. If I had any challenges growing up, even with the ability to express myself, because I struggled with, I'm comfortable expressing myself, but I did struggle a lot of times with the potential feedback.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that would reduce how much you express yourself. And it would also narrow down the number of people that you would express yourself to.
Right.
And so there were occasions where I probably had a safe space, but because of previous experiences, I didn't share.
Right.
So you have to get over people and recognize that, people should not control your emotional disposition, your emotional state of mind.
Right.
That's the reality, because they don't have a heaven or hell to put you in, and they're not paying your bills.
Right.
And even if they're paying your bills, they still don't have a heaven or hell to put you in.
Right.
And you can grow up and learn to pay your own bills.
Right.
So the reality is you have to get over people. Now, I understand it's easier said than done, because certain people have a set value in our lives, and what they say matters.
Yes.
A
lot.
I'm over people, but I don't care if my wife says something negative to me. It's gonna matter. It's gonna impact me, because
some kind of way.
That's an intimate relationship. We got too many years together. She knows my good, my bad, my ugly. So if she says something, I got to take it to heart, good or bad. So I get that. And I know that, there's levels to this, but for the most part, you have to be comfortable in your own skin, and you have to be the ruler of self.
Right.
That's the reality. and not let anybody else come into your life and be the barometer for your state of mind.
Right.
You know,
And it's like,
but
it feels slightly off subject, but like even Pastor was saying that, I started feeling bad for my wife. Like I come this scarred, I come not knowing how to deal with emotions, I come not feeling okay to release things because of all this stuff I went through before I married her. And then I married her, and then just like I'm this guy who just won't release, who won't express, and expect her just to deal with that. That's a lot to put on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And and the worst part is, I didn't even know I was dealing with that to tell her. I feel like I tricked her a little bit, but I didn't know I was that scarred because I was functioning. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey,
so
come on, Deborah.
It's tough, but I'm kind of what Pastor on, man. Like I want to get into competing with myself. I want to try to impress myself.
Right.
I promise you, no joke. I'm so tired right now. I stayed up like 4 o'clock, like trying to think of stuff that I just want to do. You know what I mean? So, and I was struggling. I tried to get to 10.
You know why you struggle with that?
I don't think about myself that much.
No, you know why you struggle with that, because you quote a scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Right.
So when you know that all things are possible, how can you impress yourself?
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
That's tough.
Right.
Right.
It should be no surprise that you're able to accomplish it if you believe all things are possible.
Right.
Right.
Right. So it's an endless battle trying to impress yourself, because you know you're capable of anything.
Right.
Right.
I think
get some sleep tonight, Pastor.
Right. I think it's the, not really the impression of impressing yourself. I think it's, focusing on the impact that you want to have. What is it that you want to change? What is it that bothers you in the world that you just like, what can I do to stop this or change this or encourage or help? What's, just, trying to compete with yourself. Yeah. To get to the, will be a never ending thing, because there are always, I've heard singers say, the worst is when you have a hit, now you're trying to top that hit, to get better.
Instead of just
making another hit.
The next one, instead of just expressing yourself, you're comparing. You're living. I tell people we destroy ourselves by comparison.
Yes. Yes, we do.
One of the greatest and most challenging things I ever experienced was telling someone, "You look very pretty today," and the response was, "I know."
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're really smart. I know. Right. Oh, that was absolutely wonderful what you did. I know. And we get offended by that response.
Yes.
But there's I appreciate the thank you.
Right.
But did I give you the compliment to get the thank you, or did I give you the compliment because I was impressed by the act?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We put all the emphasis on, I told her she looked pretty and she didn't even say thank you. Were you looking for the thank you?
Thank you.
Or did you just want to let her know she looked pretty? Does it really matter whether she says thank you?
Right.
Yeah.
I know it's common courtesy, but now you're mad. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is the stuff, like when we talk about learning to express ourselves, the things that we get tripped up on are just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We teach our children, when someone says you look nice, just tell them thank you.
Thank you. Right.
For the courtesy.
And courtesy of it. Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you gotta teach them if you say it, how they receive it, you just give them the compliment.
But that's it right there. And I spend a lot of years opening doors expecting a thank you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just focusing on like having the door open, like, and I think last night that's kind of what kept me more than just the empty ideas. When you start thinking about the possibilities of a thing or what you could be doing, what stressed me out was how big that idea was and how far from it I am. You know what I'm saying? It was hard to think about the future without putting my mind on present state. Like, like, okay, I want to be president, and I'm not even like anywhere near. I've never been to. I went to Washington one time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not involved in any local politics. So the pressure, the the heaviness of wanting to be president and not even being an alderman right now, kind of it messed with me a bit, you know. So like Pat said, you know, the possibility is there, but
I think
I'm at the phase now where I'm trying to be like you say, Lord, deliver us from people. So now that I'm done with them,
right,
focusing on me is still like a tall task because I'm still so like drenched by opinion, so heavy with their thoughts and what they suggest. Even and I'm talking well-meaning people too. I'm not always talking about
no, I get you,
haters or whatnot.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
No, I get
Sometimes
it.
folk want something for you, but it's still not for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know, you gotta stand on what you know,
yeah,
the principles that you hold, and sometimes the term, let the chips fall where they may. You gotta kind of just step out there. When it's time to express yourself, you get the nudge. Even and shout out to Pastor, because he when things are said or done, and he the one that, if there's an issue, he just, hey, that ain't right. You have to be able to step out there. Hey, Mama, appreciate that. And I'm gonna get to my wife's comments because she bust some stuff out that I need to break down. But yeah, like you get the nudge, right? And sometimes you just got to be the unpopular one. And a lot of times you're unpopular with seeming like a popular opinion is the opinion of everybody standing behind you. They just don't want to be the one to say it. Like we can't. And it's funny. I've been reading. Was it Luke 16? And Jesus was talking about the mammon and whom you're gonna serve.
God and mammon.
Yeah. And how and it tripped me up. How the unethical servant was doing unethical stuff, but the Lord of, the boss was fine with it, because he was handling business. And it was like, I had to dig into that. And I realized, if we're going all in for God, right? If we're going all in what God has placed in us, then we have to just go all in. So even in the uncomfortable spaces, uncomfortable spots, when somebody says something that you're just like, no, that's wrong. You have to just be willing to forget position and stand on the principle, and we can't continuously get tripped up because of position. Sometimes it's like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna have to lose the spot. It is what it is. Cause you can't allow things to just pass by you, and you have ideas and it sucks because when you're younger, you have an idea. Cause I had an idea and I posted it up about downloading music back in the 90s. I had a whole diagram. I went to my homeboy who was in computers. I was like, yo, son, how can we make this happen? I'm like, where we got to start to make this happen. And he was like, nah, son, it can't. Because, the download speeds, what's available, it can't happen. It's like, it can't happen? It can't happen. Right. Let all that marinate. Where we at now?
Yeah.
It can't happen. So I get it. Because your homeboys are like, and for lack of a better way of putting it, like your wife, like you trust your cat, people around you. That's my boys. Like, yo, I trust their opinion. I trust what they say. And, so I let it go. I let it go. Right.
Then came Spotify.
Right.
Napster.
Right. Or Napster.
Napster. Before Spotify. Yeah.
But anyway, and it's funny because so let me go back to one of the comments that she started. Let me just throw this comment first. So he said, "Oh, look, my ex-friend, what's his name again? Talking about you, Ephraim. We'll discuss that later. Why she's not happy with you." She said, so he said, right, we had the conversation last night, Pastor, about receiving she says, sometimes when someone says something positive to me, like that's a stranger, she feels like I receive it more than when it comes from her. And I was like, no, I receive it the same. I think sometimes it's more because you feel like your wife is just, saying it.
Obligated.
Yeah, like she's obligated to say it. Even though I keep it real, my wife was like, no, like if I preach something, she wouldn't tell me it's good. She'd be like, that sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked. I don't know where you was going. I don't know what topic you was on. You
Yeah,
started off good because they were like, you started off good, you hit that scripture. Well, where were you going? You know, so so we had that relationship, and she was like, "But but when it's something negative, ooh, like I told people, I was like, you're in love when your wife could pick up the phone and in 20 seconds turn your good mood into a horrible mood. It probably like 10. She say like 3 words and hang up, and your whole disposition is jacked up. Like nobody else can get you there that quick. Like
it's a skill, it's a gift.
Yeah,
power of connection.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because anybody else, because you go at it, it's like Teflon. You just whatever. You just roll right up. But her stick right to the 2-3 words. But just that emotion that who you surrounded with, those ideas. I think you just got to formulate. You got to know. It's like what you want to become. If you have an idea of what you want to become, now it's just the path to get there. And then you got us. You got your circle of people that's going to encourage you and at least help you get on that path. Because I know Pastor's been there. You see, where you want to go, but you start looking like I know Pastor just being homeless is like I ain't got nothing. like I ain't got nothing.
But the scripture tells the story of the men who were looking down into the city.
Yes.
Right. Why sit we here till we die?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to die anyway, let's die with a full belly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's a chance we could get killed if we go into the city, but there's a chance we could not get killed.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're guaranteed to die if we do nothing.
Yeah.
And so being homeless was why sit here till I die? There has to be something more than this. There has to be something better than this.
Right.
So let me go get this thing done.
Right.
And this thing will lead to when our former president Barack Obama spoke at the Democratic National Convention when he was the keynote speaker. Did he know that right after that he would become president? That he'd be running for president?
Right.
It's very possible that he knew, but it's also possible that he was only dealing with what was in front of him.
Right.
You understand? Because at the end of the day, he was still some low-level legislator from Chicago.
And a black guy.
And a black guy who still smoked cigarettes.
Right. Hey,
still had a dip in his walk. And I'm saying that you don't know unless you get up and move. One thing is, Steve Harvey said, one thing is guaranteed. If you don't move, you won't get there.
Right. Yes, indeed.
If you don't say anything, you won't get anything.
Right.
I guarantee you, if you keep your mouth closed,
right,
you will not eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a guarantee.
Right.
So you have to get over yourself.
Right.
And you have to get, and I'm saying, I'm telling y'all, I'm preaching to myself.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm on it,
you
but I
gotta
ain't
get
there.
over self. You got to get up. You got to make something happen. Right. Because no one is going to make it happen for you.
Right.
Even if you want to win the lottery, you got to go buy the ticket.
Yes.
You'll never win if you never buy the ticket.
Right.
I'm not telling y'all to run out there and play the lottery.
Brother Legacy is not telling you to go play the lottery.
Just give me a number. That's all.
Right.
3 numbers.
I've never seen a dog chase a parked car.
Right.
Right.
You got to be moving. And when you're moving, know that there's going to be something chasing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're not chasing, here's the thing, man. There's so many ways to express this. There's so many ways. My wife and I were talking about this. I think it was yesterday, early in the day, and I was just looking at my life. I'm like, to your point, it's amazing that I've made it this far.
Yeah.
It coming from where I come from, it's absolutely divine.
Right.
My life story is absolutely divine. Right. For someone who grew up in the zip code that I grew up in,
right,
I am a walking, living, breathing miracle. Right. My brother is in Hollywood, doing commercials, writing for sitcoms, acting, has his own improv company, You know, it to look at his life and look at where we come from, where he is today, just does not make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
When he graduated high school in 1988, he said, "I'm moving to LA." Right now, he ain't Will Smith.
Right.
You understand?
Yep.
But he there though.
But his wife drive a Tesla though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, I can't even imagine the level of rejection that my brother went through, that he had to fight through to get to where he is today. Right? That's just real talk. And I'm saying y'all may not know him, but you've seen him and don't know you've seen him.
Oh yeah, y'all seen him.
You've seen him and don't know it's him. You just don't know that
Everyone
it's
here
him.
has seen him. Yes,
I promise you, everybody listening has seen my brother. You just don't know it's my brother.
Right. Yes.
And what I'm saying is, you don't know all that because that's not the broadcast. That ain't what we're talking about.
Right.
Because it makes no sense for me to be showing y'all everything about my brother. No, what's important is that I chase my thing.
Right.
You let it do what it do. You got to chase your thing. Stop living your life in somebody else's lane.
Right.
Yeah.
We spend too much time evaluating what everybody else is doing and won't even open up our mouth about our own needs and our own desires and our own goals.
Yeah.
Right.
So yep. Sam said we have to start putting some of the energy we put into other people into ourselves. We will defend, support, and fight for other folks, and then shortchange our own. Right.
Thank you.
And we get like, I'm telling you, like, I'm legit. What's up, Ashley? I'm legit like out of shape, condition, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to thinking about myself. Right. When I think about myself, I instantly feel like guilt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying these the right feelings, but this is what I feel. It's hard for me to leave this house, go get myself a sandwich. I don't go out to a sandwich place I want to eat or something like that. You know, it's weird for me to come back to this house without a bag of food for everybody. You get what I'm saying? Like they could eat.
Yeah.
Tan could tell me we straight, and it still would feel a little awkward.
Right.
Going to get myself a real nice $12 hamburger or something like that. Like and you know, sitting down at the restaurant or something like I can't even fathom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in such what everybody need mode. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the baby boy, and the rest of my family, they crazy emotional. So like I grew up feeling like, let me calm down since y'all can't handle this level of stress. Let me be the one that's calm. So like taking on others has been the thing for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm not saying I've never been selfish. I got selfish moments, you know what I'm saying? That's what sin is, right? Sin is just selfishness, right? Doing what you want to do. So I'm not saying that, but it's just awkward at this point. I put myself such on the back burner. It's awkward to think about what I want to do, to prioritize what I got going on.
Yeah.
I think and we fall into that. Sometimes I guess being saved, becoming Christians, you know, you feel like, you know, I have to come last in everything. I have to make sure that everybody's good before I think about myself.
That's the Christian way.
Right.
You're a good Christian.
And like, you know, I don't know who, me and Sam talked about, someone said it a long time ago, like, why is it sometimes hard for Christians to take a compliment and just be like, thank you, or, you know, receive it in, you know, it's like, if you're told a compliment, you're like, well, to God be the glory. You know, you know, like,
I'm just blessed and highly favored.
Right. You're right. I'm blessed and highly favored. Meek,
or
right, meek and lowly.
Tell you, thank you, I have to stay humble.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to tell me that you're going to be humble.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's culture though. It's culture.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a misconception. It's a misunderstanding
of
the word of God. My wife, who's working on her doctorate now, gave me a book. I just started reading this new book called Rich Church, Poor Church.
Right.
Well, what that's
first couple of chapters, the author is dealing with his own life. He's like second generation, a third generation Italian in the U.S. And he talks about how hard his father worked.
Right.
in the factory,
Right.
and how he never took time for himself because he always felt like he needed to work, provide for his
Right.
family. Everybody
Right.
else came first, and that was the manly, the fatherly thing to do.
Right.
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 And he said, once I asked my dad, it's like, how come you never have any fun? How come you never take any time off? He said, I'm going to work hard now and have fun later. I'm going to relax later,
Right.
you know, when I retire.
Right.
And the man said that his father worked all his life. He retired and he died.
Wow.
And he said, my father lived working, but he died resting.
Wow.
He
Wow.
died trying
stuff.
to rest.
Wow.
You understand?
Right.
And that's the and I'm saying I've been told just in these last few weeks, Pastor, self-care,
Right.
honey,
Yeah.
self-care,
Right.
go do
Yeah.
something,
Right.
for yourself.
Right.
People have been looking at me saying, I see you running. I was just told yesterday, I see you running, but I haven't seen you take a break
Yeah.
yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I realized, growing up, watching my mom work every day,
Right.
going to the military first,
Right.
working in a factory, all that.
Right.
I'm like a blue collar guy. I'm like, get
Right.
up,
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
rest
Get the
later,
Right.
make
Right.
sure everybody has theirs and all that. You take
Yeah.
care of, and I realized, man, you getting lost in this stuff, bro. You gotta take a
Yes.
break. You gotta shut it down.
Right.
And so we have to remember that. And so part of dealing with your emotions is understanding when to take a break, understanding that it's okay to tell somebody you don't feel like it.
Right.
It's okay to say, I'm not in the mood.
I'm not in the mood.
It doesn't mean that I don't love you.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I don't want to do it. It means I don't want to do it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Right.
understand? That's
Yes.
just not in my
Right.
current venue. That's not
Right.
on my program today. I
Right.
just and
Right.
people have to learn to be okay with that.
Yes.
How do you
Because-
deal with letting people down?
Well, see, that's the thing. If I look at it like I'm letting somebody down, then I've lost.
Right. 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 Because you're gonna
Right?
carry that. You're gonna carry
Yeah,
that.
and here's what I learned.
That's
And
good.
here's this. I'm gonna tell you something. One thing that I'm learning more and more about my relationship with God is that He has to come first.
Right.
Right? If I'm first, then God is first, then me.
Mm.
If I've got my priorities in order, right? Because self-preservation means dependence on God,
Right. Okay.
right? And here's the thing, that's the only way I'm going to be any good to anybody outside of myself.
Right.
And here's what I learned: if God isn't first in my life,
Mhm.
that means something else is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
At all times.
And just off the tip, if God ain't first, that means I'm first.
Right.
Right? That
Right.
means that everything I do revolves around what I think. And I'm
Right.
never any good. It's never about you or anybody else. But here's the thing: if it's always about you and it's never about me,
Right.
it's
right.
just as bad.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yes.
And so we have to learn how to balance that. But the
Right.
first thing is make sure God is first so that you're not so self-centered.
Yes. Yeah.
We living in a day and age now where people have replaced God with self.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
And now you're no good. And so there's two ways that you can be unhealthy for other people and unhealthy for yourself.
Right.
When you are self-centered
Mm-hmm.
and when you care too much about what everybody else thinks.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
You have to have a balance. And the only way to have a proper balance is having God first so that you can see life through the lens of God.
Right.
That's
Right.
real, man. That's real. So it helps you to get over yourself and it helps you to get over people. It helps you to take care of yourself and
Right.
it helps you to love people effectively, properly. That's
Right.
the reality. See, when you talk about emotions, know the difference between happy and joy.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One is emotion, one is a spirit.
Right.
And if you can maintain the understanding of the spirit of joy,
Right.
you don't have to worry about the emotional happiness because you know there's going to be good days and bad days.
Yeah.
But in everything, we give thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You can't. I think it's that carrying. Like when you say no, it's just no. And you have to be just good with it. You just gotta be. I mean, and granted, it's tough at first. Like especially if it's like if it's like, even if it's ministry, like, you know, pastor say, hey, can you, and I'm just, I can't. It's like, I can't, pastor. I can't.
One of my favorite phrases is, I will always do what I can,
right,
but I'm not going to do what I can't.
Right. You know, and
I gotta do better with that.
Yeah, like because you know what, and you know what's crazy? Sometimes, you know, we mix up, you know, what we're doing for somebody or what we're doing for God. You know, and that's the part that kind of kills us in a sense. You know, like we get too caught up in just, you know, we serve God. You know, He's everything. He's our all. We pay our tithes. Or give our tithes, and we have to know that what God placed in us in our ministry and what we to do. But even like Jesus, He said, yo, y'all chill here, stay, you know, keep praying. I'm gonna go have my time. Even He had His time. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that we need our time with God, and we got to have our relationship with Him, squarely with Him. And then we are here to love our neighbors, but it's not to give all that we have to them. We have to have some for us. How are we going to survive? You know, I know we always talk about in money, but even in service and what we do, you know, because I've been there. Like I've given so much to the church thinking it's God. You know what I'm saying? And
you know what, man? Okay, let me expose the church real quick.
Right.
In the church, we always preach tithe and offering.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't preach financial liberation.
Right. Oof.
Say more.
Right? What I've learned is most preachers have learned the art of raising an offering.
The appeal.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, in a lot of cases, I'm not saying in all,
Yeah. Right.
but in a lot of cases,
Yes, indeed.
I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that offering is right.
Right.
You understand?
Yep.
And so if your goal is to make sure that the offering is right, is your faith, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein? Or is your faith in, if I don't raise an offering, I can't keep the church open?
Right.
We got to get our priorities in order. You understand? Because seeding is between you and God.
Right. Right. Right.
That's the truth. And you have to understand the difference between your faithfulness to God and what the scripture says about seeding into good ground and my ability to pay the overhead for the business that I'm running.
Right. Right.
Am I sharing salvation or am I selling a product?
Right.
That's deep, man.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, people say, oh, that's what small church people say.
Busted. You
understand?
Yeah.
But guess what? I'll live with that. I'll accept that.
Right.
Because the question really becomes whether or not what I'm saying is true.
Right. Right.
Right. You can cast whatever opinion you want on me.
Right.
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 But when you get done talking, I'm the guy who still struggles because I work a full-time job and preach. I'm bivocational.
Right.
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 Now, what I'm saying is it's irrelevant. My only point is know the truth.
Right.
And the truth shall make you free. We got to know the truth about ourselves. We got to know the truth about our God. We got to know the truth about our purpose.
Right.
And we got to live the truth about how we feel in our emotional state.
Right.
You got to live that. You got to walk in your truth. And what I'm saying, what I've learned, what I keep learning more and more is I have to be comfortable walking in my truth.
Yeah.
On my I've got to treat the truth of my bad day like I treat the truth of my good day.
Right. Right.
Indeed. I can't front on a bad day. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to take a bad day and pull somebody else down because my mood ain't right.
Right.
Yeah.
What I can do is let you know I'm not all the way there today.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand? I have to tell my wife sometimes, you know what, honey, I want to hear you, but right now I can't hear you right now.
Right.
This is not a moment to have that conversation.
Right. Right.
You understand? I'm willing to have it, but I'm just not willing to have it right now.
Right now.
And then people who love you are going to respect that. And even if they don't, You still told them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to live with the outcome. But
Right.
you were honest. You got to live your truth.
Yes.
And be willing to do that. And I'm saying what I'm learning more and more. I've had to deal with some people that I love in odd ways. But you know what I found out?
What?
They get over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to.
Today's news is tomorrow's history. I promise you, they're gonna be talking about somebody else tomorrow.
Right. Standing on.
I gotta jump. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for letting me pontificate for so long.
Good,
I gotta jump to another call.
Yes,
Y'all
sir. I appreciate you. Bless you,
right,
man. But yeah, standing on that truth, man, regardless of position.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean that goes job, church, home, you know, like the truth, you know, if fam is asking to do something, just like, I don't think that's the direction we should go. You know, like it's just you gotta, what your principles are, what you're standing on. And live with that, and whatever idea or whatever your focus is, let that be your direction that you go, like we say, write the vision, like, all right, this is the direction that we're going in, and just be confident in that direction. Now, is it an easy journey? It's not, is it doubtful? Yeah. But you just gotta make that journey, make that choice, and deal with, let the chips fall where they may, what's right for yourself. Yeah. You like to think about today.
Just do that, yeah.
But we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Ashley said, he said, I'm so bad saying the N-word. Yeah, I know. Don't worry about it. Some of us are still struggling with that. I try to work it out.
Always that N-word. If it ain't one N, it's another.
Right. But yeah, so I'm excited about our growth and what we're doing. I'm thankful for you guys being here. He said, just great conversation as usual. Glad to see E. Yes, indeed. E is always the cousin of Legacy.
Appreciate you, Mama.
Appreciate him being here, adding to the conversation. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. I appreciate you guys hanging and rocking with us. Make sure you share. This was an amazing conversation. I love when it goes further than I can ever imagine. I love it. I love it. I love it. So like I said, make sure you share, tag somebody, inbox this broadcast to somebody, let them have an opportunity to see this. Brothers expressing themselves, being very vulnerable and exposing, some of our doubts and fears and what we're dealing with. Because through that, we help other brothers, get out of the box of holding everything in, because it's knowing the outlet. It's how to express what's happening, how to express what's going on inside of you. And if you're married, of course, your wife needs to know how you're feeling, needs to know what's going on inside of you in an expressive manner. It's not enough just to be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm dealing. Women need a little more description. They need to know how they can help. That's why they're positioned to be your helpmeet. And if that's who you call your wife, your helpmeet, then you need to give her the opportunity to help. That is it. That is all. E, you wanted to share something before we bounce?
Nah, man, you motivated me today, so I'm gonna go tell everybody no. I'm gonna turn in my 2 weeks notice at the job. I heard you loud and clear today, bro. I got you. I appreciate it, man.
What that on
Brothers
me?
of Legacy always come through for me, man. I'm out here now. Feel me?
All right. So we appreciate you. Oh Lord. We closing it down. We closing it down.
Damn, I am.
All right. We see you guys. She's trying to bust up in there. All right, guys. We see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Make sure you join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And you'll never miss a broadcast. All right. We appreciate you. We love you. And that is all. Yeah, don't laugh, Deborah. Don't laugh at her. She's busting up in the mother. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being with us. Sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see this show, I appreciate you as well.